Hello and welcome to my first personal YouTube video. Let me tell you about a disaster that hit my home province of Newfoundland and Labrador. This is what happened to my family. In October 2010, Category 1 Hurricane Igor hit the place where I live. We've been a family who has been preparing for emergencies as this. We had lots of food and water, but we missed some basic items. We thought we were ready, but when the power went out we learned some useful lessons. So I thought I'd share some with you. Firstly, when the power goes out, the bank machines stop working. Even with emergency power at the bank, the network was down. So I couldn't withdraw any money. However, I did have a $100 bill, and that was enough for a short time. But it was a day or two before any banks were available. So, remember to put away some cash for a short-term emergency. Secondly, it was night time, and very dark, as there were no lights anywhere in the city. I needed a flashlight, but I couldn't find one that was working, although I thought we had them. Finally, my wife found one. I then thought I'd use our propane camping lamp. However, when I got it down from the shelf in the garage, the mantle was broken. I happened to have a spare handy, but that was just luck, not planning. We also wanted to have a hot meal, so I dragged out the Coleman propane stove only to find that we did not have a propane tank for it. I did, however, have a barbecue propane tank in the garage, and I knew that I had an adapter for the tank. I searched for the adapter and found it, but it didn't work for two reasons. 1. It was an old style nozzle, and out of date for the new style tanks. 2. Its O-ring was cracked, and the gas would have leaked out. Even if it had worked, it could have caused a fire. So, I could not use that tank as a source of fuel. Thirdly, because the bank machines didn't work, most stores closed simply because most transactions are by debit, and everything depends upon computers and electronics to work. However, our Canadian Tire store remained open, and they accepted cash only, and wrote up the bills by hand. As you can imagine, the place was busy. I was able to buy a number of propane canisters and some flashlights and mantles. When I got home, we were then able to cook a hot meal and have propane for lighting and Scrabble for entertainment. By the way, I didn't mention the rotten weather, with fallen trees and branches, blowing wind, major flooding, gusts over 160 kilometers an hour, and in some places over 240 millimeters of rain in just a few hours, not even fit for a dog. It wasn't a good time to be unprepared. Fourthly, I didn't have any batteries for the portable radio. Everything, TV, radio, depended upon electricity. For the latest storm news, I went out and sat in the car to listen to the radio. But listening in the car burns gas, and in those situations you need to conserve as much as you can. I've learned from the winters here that you always keep your tanks at least half full. Because a storm can happen, and you don't want to run out of gas in that situation. We were some of the lucky ones. Our power was only out for a few hours, while houses in our neighborhood were out for a day, even up to 5 days. Highways were washed out, so that in the hardest hit communities they called the Army and Navy to help in the disaster and bring food, water, and supplies. Next time a hurricane comes our way, I think we will be more prepared because of the lessons learned. Even people like us who thought that they were prepared were caught off guard. Just imagine if you will, about living without electricity, running water or heat during a disaster situation, and you'll understand. For us, heating is still a big worry, as we are only on electric heat and we don't have any other source for warmth. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've learned some basic things from Igor, the horrible hurricane. Is that it? Are the cameras off now? Wow, I didn't flub my lines this time. Goes to show practice makes what the cameras are still going. Thanks a lot for telling me, idiots.